early 90s, we couldn't attract an audience. I needed people to take WCW seriously. We needed a star.
Hulk Hogan is here! You can call this the new world order of wrestling, brother.
I don't think I'd ever seen anything as hot as NWO.
They were bad, but they were cool. It was the biggest turn in the history of wrestling.
Oh, no!
Wow. WCW was now beating WWF in the ratings.
Have we created a monster or what?
Shit's gonna hit the fan at some point, and it did.
It was a company that was infested with guys that had their own agenda. Eric Bischoff, he was just a prop. Hulk Hogan was the puppet master.
Once a god, always a god.
You cannot sweep this under the rug.
This is a fucking television show.
I don't understand what he's doing. The real reason men commit lies.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned in to the world's #1 professional wrestling program.
By 1997, we had built so much goodwill with the audience. As a result of the NWO, we were absolutely on fire.
When it rains, it pours.
For 83 weeks straight, WCW Nitro defeated WWE. And then all of a sudden, boom. I get a phone call. It's Harvey Schiller.
He's the president of Turner Sports, and by proxy, you could say WCW.
So I answered it. Hey, Harvey, how you doing? I'm good, how are you? I said, oh, I'm good. Before you hang up, I want to let you know, Nitro was having so much success on TNT, Ted wants to do another primetime show for TBS.
Feel the thunder. Simply on the Superstation.
I hung up the phone. I thought, this can't be real.
They weren't happy enough with the ratings they had. They wanted to expand, not realizing you're gonna weaken the Monday show.
I mean, things were going so well. You're giving them such a great show on Monday night that the idea of doing another show live, 48 hours after I just got done producing one, there was no way I thought it could work. But I didn't want to be the guy to tell Ted no. That was my mistake.
Tonight, we welcome you to Thunder.
TBS said, sure, we'll take the show. We just don't have it in our budget. We can't pay for it. So, reluctantly, we should just pay for it out of WCW's budget. That's what Ted wants. The challenge, right off the bat, audience fatigue. Because now they're seeing too much of the same talent.
Who's who? I don't know.
Even though we had a very deep roster, if we're going to do another show, I thought, that roster has to be substantially unique. That's why I brought Bret Hart in.
I was at the top of the heap of the WWF during those days. I beat Undertaker for the title. I beat Stone Cold Steve Austin. I was a WWF guy, and I think I was a big part of the success that it had.
I like Bret. A lot of respect for that man.
Bret Hart, somebody I probably had my best matches with. Ultimate respect.
I loved Bret Hart. He was like a national hero in Canada. People respected him. People looked up to him.
I emulated some of my style from Bret Hart, like my suplex.
Suplex right there.
Bischoff says, what's it gonna take for you to come to WCW?
Bret.
We got up to $2.8 million a year.
Bret.
So I joined WCW.
Bret the Hitman Hart has arrived.
First night I walked out and I got a great reaction.
I needed an anchor for that show. Bret was critical to that.
But it went downhill from there.
It sounds to me like you people are a little disappointed in me.
They're flying me down from Calgary, and then they tell me I'm off for the night. And then the next week I do the same thing again. Just sit in the dressing room and do nothing. Eric, he apologized to me many times and said, I'm so sorry about how we brought you in. Everything he ever said was a lie.
We already knew that we were running thin. You had Monday Night Nitro, and then you had 2 days that you had to do house shows.
It's followed by a 2-hour Thunder.
We had a Saturday show.
And then you might have a pay-per-view or something in there.
You're basically booking 10 hours in 2 days. It was impossible to have any kind of attention to detail.
And I think it showed.
I've never seen a human being do anything like this in my life. This has never been done in our sport.
There's so many times we didn't have finishes for this or finishes for that because it was so time consuming.
Fans, we're out of time.
And these guys are trying to think up something new. They're gonna go to something that worked before.
You know, NWO was still rocking and rolling, printing money and printing ratings. And as a result, we took the easy way out. We kept adding to the NWO. Let's create the red faction.
We got some new colors going on.
Let's create the Latino faction.
The Latino World Order.
You just can't pass T-shirts out and water down the greatest show in town.
I got a wedding.
There were too many people, wasn't cool anymore.
If you watch one match, you watched them all. Every show ends with a run-in. There's about 20 guys running in there. And I'm going, why am I running in? Nothing made sense from one week to the next.
And the fans disgusted thumbs down. Unbelievable.
Creating momentum is really, really hard. The only thing harder than creating momentum is maintaining momentum.
Thanks for having me here, Mr. President-elect.
We lost our momentum, and we find ourselves in a rebuild mode.
April 13th of 1998, something significant happened, which was Raw beating Nitro for the first time in the ratings for 22 months.
Whenever you're leading a night and now you're not leading a night, there's reason for concern. As WCW and Monday Nitro became a huge primetime hit, those numbers exploded because it wasn't just men 18 and 34. It now became families. So my eye was on Goldberg.
I was born with something. I'm fucking 6'3", 280 pounds. I could go from 0 to 100 and 100 to 0 in 60 seconds. But what the business didn't have was something that I wanted to fill the void with. And that's the beauty of the character that we came up with. I am the fucking character. I am Goldberg.
This is the beginning of the universe. We have reached the epitome.
I don't think there ever had been an athlete,
The man,
a star,
Superman himself,
a performer,
100% adrenaline.
professional wrestling
Goldberg will not be intimidated.
that rose as quickly as Goldberg. Bill Goldberg, he was on a rocket ship from day one.
A professional wrestler was never anything I aspired to be. My entire life existence was to play football.
I don't know if you know who this guy is, but I've got the picture. I know all about him. Bill Goldberg, former Georgia Bulldog and Atlanta Falcon.
I was never the best football player by any stretch of the imagination. I got hurt, tore my abdomen off of my pelvis in '94. I had no idea what I was gonna do the rest of my life. I was depressed as shit. When I finally seriously considered becoming a professional wrestler, I had to come up with something where I felt as though I was continually building upon what I had built. You strive to be the biggest, baddest dude on the field.
I gave him the short black boots, black tights.
Combination slam, 1, 2, 3.
He didn't talk.
You absolutely manhandled him tonight. Sir, I've got to get a little bit more than that.
Mike Tyson, black boots, black shorts. Didn't need to talk, just come down and do that.
He might bite your fucking ear off, or he might knock you out with an uppercut. You don't know what's gonna happen.
Hey, you gotta watch this guy, Goldberg. He's a time bomb just ready to explode.
Maybe that's why it worked.
The crowd was reacting to him like a superstar.
Listen to this reception.
It was like, holy crap.
people were chanting his name, Goldberg, Goldberg.
They pushed him like crazy.
There's never been a push anything like it anywhere.
Let's just put him out there and have him squash people. Kept doing it, doing it, doing it. People kept loving it, loving it, loving it. Why would you mess with that?
There were a lot of people jealous of him.
Bill was a fan, Bill was a mark, Bill was a football player.
Someone should have taught him or pulled him aside and said, hey, Bill, you do know that this is pretend, right? He didn't.
This is a fucking television show. I know when you tackle somebody, you think it's real. But the person getting fucking potatoed in the corner's had enough.
I feel bad about it, but as long as the intent is not there, it's not my fault. You can't blame me.
Jesus Christ, dude. Like, get some skills.
A lot of jealousy. This guy hasn't paid his dues, and Goldberg doesn't love this like we do, you know?
They can all kiss my ass. I'll take that criticism on the way up because I'm still that guy. And you guys tried every frickin' thing you could do for me not to be that guy. And who prevailed?
Please welcome Goldberg!
I felt that Goldberg was really the phenomena that could bring advertisers and all the other stuff that they're buying or they're consuming.
Fashion Goldberg, fashion brawlers.
The kids loved Goldberg. They loved that character. And they loved the fact that he was undefeated. All anyone ever wanted to talk about was Goldberg, Goldberg, Goldberg.
So I'm in LA one day, and I get a phone call from Hulk. I got an idea. I'm gonna wrestle Goldberg, Georgia Dome. We're gonna put him over clean. The time is right. This is the time. Let's do this.
Nitro, it's on the air! From the professional wrestling capital of the world, Atlanta, Georgia!
Bill Goldberg was a hometown hero.
There he is, and here comes the eruption. Bigger than before.
Guys from the Falcons were there, you know, former teammates. It felt like the Super Bowl. I mean, we sold out the Georgia Dome.
44,000 tickets, man. That place was packed. It was electric.
It was Nitro.
This is the biggest one, that heightened sense of anticipation. Let the match begin.
10 million people in the United States between Monday Night Raw and Nitro were zeroed in on professional wrestling. Mind-blowing.
That really was
He's got him up!
the height of WCW.
That was the coolest shit ever. The feeling that I got when I heard the crowd after I received the belt.
Thank you! We've got a new heavyweight champion!
Nothing like it. It was just the coolest moment.
Okay, why is this not on a pay-per-view? It's like, man, we could have made a lot more money if we'd have kept it off TV for a while.
One of the things that I was criticized for was that I was putting pay-per-view quality matches on free TV.
WCW is getting higher ratings than anything else in the company. This is the hottest product we've got.
It didn't always advertise into the highest value that you could get for ad dollars.
The disconnect between the advertising dollars and the size of the audience for wrestling became an issue.
One of the forces working against ad revenue was our ad people wouldn't sell wrestling. They don't like it and they want to get rid of it. There's such pressure on Eric with opposition, not only at the corporate, but also the people that reported to him. I mean, he had no friends.
We're going to take your paycheck. We're going to take your job.
There was always a hint of ulterior motive, which at the end of the day could maybe mean the destruction of your company. I don't know.
All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. His debut. Now there's going to be the man right there. That's Blue Chip.
In the world of professional wrestling, any kind of fresh take on something is challenging to do. Back then, I was still opening match.
Unbelievable agility, yes sir. What a way to make your debut.
Before the show ended, I was already back in my hotel room watching Nitro. I just wanted to see where they were doing things differently and figure out how we could do something like that, or possibly even better. When you're getting your ass kicked week over week over week, which was our company, you're gonna say, hey, fuck this. What do we need to do?
Welcome to WWF Raw!
WWE's answer to NWO was the Attitude Era.
Okay, first of all, I refer to it as the Nitro Era because the Attitude Era was nothing more than a replication of the Nitro format. They were going after the same audience that I recognize as being underserved. Okay, we're in a fight. We've been dominating that fight, but this guy's coming back. It wasn't like we were hurting. They were just getting stronger. I mean, 98 was a record revenue year, but all of a sudden, none of that mattered anymore. And that affected WCW in ways that I didn't anticipate. I was introduced to a different kind of corporate structure with regard to WCW. In July of 1998, I was sitting in a meeting with 10 or 12 other people, much higher on the food chain than I am, telling me how I was going to operate WCW and change our target demographic that we had built an entire business upon. He said, no, we want kids and families.
What you really need for success is the people who are coming in on the outside.
But there was a discussion about, could they do it without being as lewd as WWE?
Vince McMahon and the WWE decided, let's do what Eric's doing, and let's do it better than them.
Oh my God, he's on fire!
That's exactly what they did.
What a good day for him.
Ted Turner was very strict about things on the show that couldn't be done. Vince was quite happy to do all of that.
We will have less references to our enormous genitalia.
They took it into the gutter.
Doesn't matter, it worked.
They have Jenna Jameson on their show. Our rebuttal is, we'll give the guy an NWO shirt.
I guess there's a new member now, huh?
Everything we can possibly do to combat WWF, they're taking away from us.
Shut up, you idiot!
We were being mandated to change the nature of the way we were producing our show. To go back to doing what we were doing when we couldn't even be a distant number two. I had taken the business out of the dumpster and turned it into a success story. Now all of a sudden, Standards and Practices is about to tell me what I can and can't do. Forget that. If push comes to shove, I'm just gonna fight all this until it gets to Ted's desk. And then it's gonna be me and this guy, and we'll see who wins.
Like a wrestling match. You heard the man himself, Ted Turner.
When you're winning and you're the guy, it's a lot of fun. And when you're losing, not so much fun. And it was hard on him at times, man. You could see it.
Eric was always a really positive person, really positive. And all of a sudden it shifted to negative.
Don't show anything unless we tell you to show it.
I found myself fighting with departments of Turner Broadcasting that I'd never heard of before. It took a lot out of me. One afternoon I was in my office and I was just out of gas, and Kevin came into my office.
And he was having such a hard time banging heads with everybody on everything.
And Kevin offered. He said, boss, why don't you just let me take over the book? Temporary, get your feet back underneath you. Let me take this pressure off of you.
The head booker was the one determining whether the concepts for each week's show actually made air or not. I think it's been fairly well acknowledged that Kevin Nash, had been instrumental in being a huge part of the creative process.
There were other people I could have handed it off to, but I had confidence in Kevin's instincts.
So that's how it started. I said, I'll help you. I should have said, let's go to a strip club.
There's a big difference between being part of a group that throws ideas out and being the guy that says, yeah, I know you don't want to do this, but this is what you're going to do, especially if you yourself are a talent. It was a bad situation but it was the best case scenario.
It's quite simple. If you don't run with the pack, you're hunted by it.
Once you have the monkeys running the zoo, you're in trouble. And that's exactly what was happening.
Woo!
He listened to all the guys that didn't have the best interest of the company in mind. I don't think that's debatable.
It's not just about being the biggest, strongest. It's about whose ass they kiss.
Sooner or later, someone will beat Goldberg.
Never had any problem with Bill. I was happy that he was getting pushed. But he's had the belt too long.
He was still really green and had no idea what he was doing.
Goldberg hit the post.
Not only did he keep hurting all the wrestlers that he works with, but he keeps hurting himself.
I'm wrestling Scott Hall, and I screw a spot up.
Scott Hall went down hard.
And he's laying on the ground, and he looks up at me, and he goes, "Yo, man, what are you doing?" And my reaction was, I don't fucking know what I'm doing. You're live on television, you're in front of your fans. I was scared shitless when I screwed that up because I didn't know what was next. I didn't know what to do.
If you can't do that, you can't be the fucking top guy.
Showing us a little new twist to his repertoire.
That's when I really realized there was a lot of shit going on, and it wasn't all for face value. So that's when I started really smartening up to it.
This document will represent the meeting of these two men at Starrcade.
And this man wants him in the ring, doesn't he? Look at that. Oh, doesn't he?
Yeah, I learned the good, bad, and the evil very quickly. I was jumping into shark-infested waters, to say the least.
Common fact, Wrestling 101, babyface always draws more money chasing the belt than having the belt.
Still undefeated here at WCW, the Sultan of Slams, Goldberg.
It was a padded stat.
Who cares? We gave the people what they wanted.
We've got to take him in a different direction in order for him to grow.
I never got tired of watching Mike Tyson come out and annihilate people. So with the Ray Creative, there's ways to keep things going.
That's what you do. You chase with the baby face. And when he fucking gets it, you take it right fucking back. Because that's where the money is.
Kevin was a politician. There's nobody I've ever met that is a top talent that is not a politician. It's a job prerequisite. Just look at it on the surface. From a pure physicality point of view, the way we had built Bill Goldberg up to be this indestructible man-eating monster, who on that roster looked like they could possibly beat that monster?
Goldberg's a move away from continuing the streak.
And Kevin Nash standing at nearly 7 foot, 6'10", whatever he is, probably at that time 340, 350 pounds. It was believable.
Hook and count. 1, 2, and he kicked away.
What I needed was somebody who could tell a story with a finish.
The finish I wanted was beat him 1, 2, 3, like the same way he was winning.
Took Nash off of his feet.
Clean. But they thought that he needed something more to lose.
No, that was a mistake.
You watch that match back. When I powerbomb him.
Oh no! Wait a minute!
I'm over as fuck.
Could this be it? 1, 2, 3! The streak is over! And we have a new world champion! The streak is over!
Did I like it? Fuck no. Did I question it? Yeah, everybody questioned it. But I don't control that shit. I go out and I do my job.
I think it was quite clear that there was no real plan in terms of where does the Goldberg character go from here. And so the follow-up left a bad taste in people's mouths.
I'm gonna try tonight to right the wrongs that happened It's Starrcade. Me and you, Goldberg, in Atlanta for the belt.
You have to imagine being in the audience on that night. It's January. There's an incredible atmosphere. But at the same time, a taped edition of Raw was happening on the other station. There was going to be a title change on that show.
I said them guys right here tonight on Raw, plus the first Nitro of 1999. It's The Rock, Mankind, the championship. Ladies and gentlemen, we set the stage for the biggest rematch in professional wrestling history.
WCW had to remind viewers that this is where the real action is.
I say, fuck this. I'll fight Goldberg again.
But that ends up taking a rather bizarre turn and devolving into a situation in which Hollywood Hogan comes back into the mix and challenges Nash to a match.
After tonight, when I beat Kevin Nash, when I retire with the World Heavyweight title, you can just call me Hollywood, the Big Bad Wolf. Boom!
We were creating this illusion of a conflict between Hulk Hogan and Kevin Nash. And we built it up like it was going to be the match of ages in the NWO to determine the fate of the organization. Hogan got to the ring and he looked all serious. Kevin Nash came to the ring and looked like he wanted to eat Hulk Hogan for lunch. And they get close together, they're almost chest to chest, nose to nose. And then
What's that about? What's going on here?
it was 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, it looked like a finish. But it was contrived by the NWO, right? To keep the belt in the family. That's ultimately what it was all about.
And when that happened, me and a lot of wrestlers were like, what the fuck is this?
Wrestling fans around the world are saying that's exactly when WCW started to go downhill. That's dirt sheet material.
You know why people hate that so much? Because it got them. Look at the crowd. They don't know what the fuck they've seen.
People expected to see something and they felt like they got fucked.
WCW had chronic bad finish disease. Sometimes just a good, clean finish is the best thing. That same night, Mick Foley was going to be wrestling The Rock, as I often had with Nitro and became famous for, giving away their finishes, starting my show 2 minutes before they started their show. I thought, why not go back to the well and give them a reason not to watch Rock and Mick?
We understand that Mick Foley, who wrestled here one time as Cactus Jack, is going to win their world title.
That fucking Eric Bischoff, he just spoiled the match. He took a shot.
A big chunk of WCW Nitro's audience went, really? That's going on over there? I'm going too. And they left. So it backfired in a huge way. 2 big moves in one night. Finger poke of doom and crap it all over Rock and Mick. Neither one of them worked very well.
What a way to start the year!
We got a little lucky that night. We had a great match, me and Mick. That was a real defining moment.
This feels pretty damn good.
There was a lot of mistakes, but my check didn't change.
The infighting, the jealousy, who is Eric gonna listen to, all that started to disintegrate something that was so cool and hot. We were our own worst enemies. It was bad enough the Turner executives didn't want us. We did ourselves no favors.
Now, a discussion about cable television programming.
Can I go to wrestling for a second? Does it bother you a little bit that wrestling is so popular? I didn't know that was the promise of cable.
4 years ago, I went to a wrestling event, and as you were going on the highway, you were basically seeing people in pickup trucks, going. A month ago, I went to a WCW Monday Nitro event, There were 40,000 people, sold out in 1 hour, and all I'm seeing are families going. So we're not embarrassed by it at all.
When you're a single organization and you do one thing, which is professional wrestling, it's very different than when you're a company like Time Warner and you've got a lot of businesses that have to get sorted out.
You're gonna have people who kind of look at this and go, is this classy enough for our networks? How is that going to rub off on our brand?
Well, wrestling may be a good product for some, but we are, after all, the world's leader in news and entertainment, and that was the rationale. We just don't like it.
The fact that WCW became successful was really frustrating for a lot of people. It was not part of the plan. It never was part of the plan. You know, the average person would go, well, why would anybody care? And I'll tell you why. Because WCW occupied prime-time beachfront property on TNT. There were a lot of people that wanted that prime-time real estate and were frustrated at our success because we got it.
There were so many demands from different places and a lot of answering to shareholders that have expectations. And WCW got caught up in that.
Well, the revenue challenges were simple. One of the goals of Turner Broadcasting was to enhance the bottom line of various divisions that they wanted to hold on to. Let's take some of their debt and move it over here. So they reallocated the guts out of my budget so that money could be moved over to other divisions. It made their bottom line look that much better.
We'll recognize all those earnings at TBS.
And because they do business with WCW, we're gonna move some of those losses over here. So WCW's books look a little worse because we want it to go away anyway.
You could have probably made it profitable if WCW charged a boatload of money for carrying wrestling to TNT and to TBS, but because we wanted TNT and TBS to be much more profitable, the license fee we paid was very low. And that was, you know, not my decision.
They didn't care if they had to sacrifice WCW. That's kind of what they wanted to do all along anyway. There were people deconstructing WCW from a budgetary perspective right underneath everybody else's noses.
The reason we became so successful is what, in retrospect, looked like bad deals. The no-cut contracts, creative controls, and all those things were necessary to swing the immediate tide over.
I guess you'd like me to sign that, wouldn't you, huh?
Everybody was making 7 figures plus.
You see this?
People know how much this guy's getting, and they want to know why they're not getting as much.
Just drew their money and did nothing.
Oh, you work here? Oh, you've been collecting money for a year sitting on your ass.
I can only imagine how much money went out.
Like, they got what?
ATM Eric. The inference was, well, Eric has access to Ted Turner's money. All he needs to do is write a check. He can hire anybody he wants. Like I was an ATM machine.
I get to spend a billionaire's money.
I got a call from Harvey Schiller. Harvey said, Eric, I need you to come up to my office. Now, Harvey very rarely summoned me to his office. Essentially, Harvey brought me in to let me know that I had been under a forensic investigation for misuse of funds. And I thought, this can't be real. Presumably, somebody had met an executive from Time Warner and laid out this crazy story. Eric's just handing out $1 million contracts right and left. But this individual suggested that the reason I was doing that is because those wrestlers were giving me a kickback. So Harvey proceeded to tell me how this forensic investigation proved that none of that was true. They wanted to come clean, and also to let me know it was complete bullshit. That pissed me off. I didn't quit my job. I wish I would have. That was the moment that I quit being loyal to the company. Fuck them.
When I think back on my career, there's always be a little bitterness about that time period. I had so many things left unfinished in my career, things I wanted to do. To watch what WCW did with me, it was sad. They're killing me off on purpose, and they did.
I've always known that sooner or later, I'd have to step in the ring with Bill Goldberg.
How do you fight Bill Goldberg? He's like a gorilla, slamming guys right through the mat, running them over like a car. I would pull them aside and say, I want to teach you how to actually not hurt guys. And when I walked out to the ring with Bill that night, and I remember I really looked him in the eye and said, don't hurt me out there. You need to trust me. And it all went in one ear, out the other. I really think Bill just saw me as another job guy, someone that was cannon fodder. If you're watching that match, Bill goes, watch the kick. And I'm like, watch the kick. And I don't understand what he's doing. He kicked me as hard as he could. You could see me grab my neck. I was concussed.
You should protect yourself. You knew the kick was coming, right? It was in the deal.
It was never talked about or explained to me. I do this move where I kick guys in the head as hard as I can.
Nobody deserves that. But it was a frickin' accident, complete accident.
No, Bill, that's not an accident. That's a career-ending injury, you idiot. I somehow will myself to stand up to be run over by this imbecile. It was one of the saddest days of my life, and I knew my career was over.
He never aspired to do anything else other than be that guy, and I ended that for him. I've never been so remorseful, and I have been for years. But fuck, man, I can't do anything else.
Bill Goldberg was not qualified, but he's our star. They just look the other way. When you go through the type of brain injury that I went through, you're just grateful to be alive.
From the very, very first second that I got here, I got screwed over and screwed over and screwed over.
It was just such a lousy ending for such a great career.
Ladies and gentlemen, he claims to be the best.
It just shows that WCW never really appreciated or understood the talent that they had. They dropped the ball with me, and he knows it, and I know it, and fans know it. In the end, Eric Bischoff only can answer to himself.
By the summer of '99, I was toast. I was frustrated, angry, demoralized, lost hope. Once you lose that, it's pretty much over, and that's where I was at. I was pretty disrespectful, intentionally, because I always thought I had Ted's support in my back pocket. And I didn't know what was going on with Ted.
So in October of 1996, the Turner-Time Warner merger was finalized. And famously, Ted Turner was not receptive to the idea at first.
Big, huge company, a lot of money for Dad. They needed him and he needed them, but he deluded himself. He's losing more and more control. More control goes to the bureaucrats. More control goes to the executive types.
He couldn't protect Eric. He couldn't protect anybody at that point.
These fans love you. We want to see more of you.
That was the opportunity so many people within Turner Broadcasting wanted and now finally had. I was out of ammunition, out of everything. It was several years before I recognized just how much freedom I had and how unique of an opportunity I had. The freedom is what led to WCW being successful. The time I spent battling internally, it took the fun out of it for me.
If it wasn't for the NWO and moi, none of you people would be here tonight.
If I had to reflect back on that snapshot, summer of '99 may have been one of the worst periods of my life, all the way across the board. September 10th, 1999, I get up like any other morning. I'm on my way to work, and I get a phone call from Harvey. And Harvey said, Eric, you need to come to my office. I got to the CNN Center, went up to Harvey's office, And he said, Eric, you need to go home. I said, well, Harvey, I'll get home in a little while, but I've got a pay-per-view on Sunday.
The WCW Fall Brawl of 1999.
He said, not anymore. And that's when it dawned on me. And I'll be honest with you, it was a combination of confusion because it hadn't quite sunk in, and relief. I wasn't disappointed. I didn't fight it.
I was shocked. I was shocked. How many years head start had Vince had? And then he beat him for 83 straight weeks.
I did it! I did it!
Pretty impressive record.
What do you say about Eric Bischoff? It's what you call taking the bull by the horns.
What Eric did was impossible, in spite of the fact that everybody was against him. I don't know how he didn't blow his brains out. This has got to be the most terrible circumstances for anybody to work in.
I pulled into the driveway.
He walks in the door and I asked him,
what are you doing here? And I sat down at the kitchen table and I said, I got fired.
I think he was a bit rattled.
She said, what are you gonna do?
He got in his plane, threw his stuff in a bag and flew himself to Cody, Wyoming.
The next day I was fishing right up the road from where I live right now. The fishing was awesome, by the way. It was awesome that day.
I'll give Eric his props. At the end of the day, it was his idea for the NWO. He did push the Luchadors. He did push Goldberg.
Eric put the pieces of that puzzle together. And oh, it wasn't his money and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. He knew what he was doing.
The moves he made by getting Hogan, Savage, Nash, and the remake of Sting. There were so many good things he did.
Wait a minute.
I didn't get involved in his world. I didn't know the intricacies of the soap opera. Eric knew that. In those years that we were crushing it, Eric delivered exactly what I asked him to deliver.
This is where the big boys play, huh? We ain't here to play.
Hollywood at the helm.
It's the NWO.
I mean, no matter what you think about Eric later down the road, he really was one of those people who worked his butt off. He worked hard and he stayed at it. And he was great to work with.
It is my honor and my privilege to introduce you to the man, Vince Russo.
He's the man behind all the storylines at WWE.
Now we've got them. We've got their genius.
He's using Jeff Jarrett's testicles for punching bags.
His thing was, let's get the audience that isn't watching wrestling.
It was lots of shock and awe.
It made it not advertiser friendly.
Eric's boys were not in tune with what Russo wanted.
And I've got plans for you, pal.
Vince Russo, you're going to fucking hell just for that.
I am the boss.
Those guys didn't want to give up their spots.
Yeah, because we earned our spot.
Is this an end of an era?
This is a television show. You want to go to a wrestling show, go to a house show.
I think we're deviating from the script. What the hell is going on?
That's going to go down as one of the most infamous moments in the history of television.
That's why this company's in the damn shape it's in, because of bullshit like this.